DNC Google pundit with all the people bitching about gas stoves. Yeah, it's nice to see the flame. But I have to say, my cheap electric stove cooks far, far more evenly and consistently than any gas stove I've ever used. It's just a fact based on my experience.
I don't like, I too prefer gas stoves just because I don't know, the electric stove, I just am not used to it, but I'm going to do away with it if it's harming I'm not going to have it pried from my cold, dead hands, is whatever Republicans are saying. What are you saying?
You also don't like roundabouts, so you're kind of stuck in the past.
Well, I find electric stoves to be...
I like straightforward things, so...
Clearly.
Yeah.
I think the idea is that gas stoves tend to be consistent regardless of the quality of the stove.
Yes.
Because it's just a flame at the end of the day.
Easy mode.
If you get a mid-level electric stove, I think they're awesome.
Have you ever burned yourself on an electric stove, though?
Have I ever burned I've burned myself on...
Yeah,
just about everything.
It's easier to burn yourself on an electric stove too. Also,
well, yeah, because you see the flame.
Hot.
But
yeah, well,
have you ever had an oil fire on your gas stove?
Oh, I got a funny story about that.
Yeah, that is
really.
Oh yeah,
I've never had that.
That is no fun. The point is that people can make different assessments as to whether a gas stove is better than a electric stove, vice versa, for these sort of very specific, because I know that America is full of really high quality chefs and everyone and they're all concerned about their getting the freshest ingredients and et cetera in their cooking.
When they're not going to Applebee's, they love to do
inductive is that what it is? Inductive stoves, those are the ones that apparently chefs are saying are the best now, which are also like a form of electric stove. But this is just a reality. Now, I know this is going to be very upsetting to Jordan Peterson. I think, in fact, he tweeted about this.
Oh, he's upset? Usually he's just the vision of stoicism.
There was, you remember that this whole thing about gas stoves came up because there was another study. And there's been apparently many, many studies over the years. But there was a study published in December that estimated about 13% of childhood asthma in the United States was linked to gas-burning stoves. There's apparently more problems associated with gas stoves than, and researchers are finding out new ones all the time. There were researchers at Stanford's Doerr School of Sustainability. They measured benzene emissions from stoves at 87 homes in California and Colorado and found that natural gas and propane stoves emitted benzene, which frequently reached indoor concentrations above the health benchmarks set by the World Health Organization and other public agencies in about a third of the homes. A single gas burner on high or an oven set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes. Now, cooking something at 350 degrees for 45 minutes, I mean, that's I don't know, baked potatoes. That's, I think chicken, you even got to go 4 1/4 for at least 45 minutes, depending on how much chicken. I mean, that is a fairly typical thing to do. Raise benzene levels above the upper range of indoor concentrations seen in secondhand tobacco smoke. They noted that similar concentrations, when identified in 2020 near schools in Greater Los Angeles and the Colorado Front Range, led to investigations by authorities there.
Jesus.
The lead author of the study said, I found it startling that concentrations were enough to trigger a public outcry when they were detected outside are concentrations we found repeatedly inside just from stoves in people's homes. And this is the gas stoves also emit other apparently pollutants like nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, and formaldehyde. They can also leak methane even when they're turned off. This has nothing to do with that. This is just a distinct danger. The UN International Agency for Research on Cancer and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency define benzene as a human carcinogen. Breathing in the chemical can increase the risk of leukemia and lymphoma. Doctors say no level of exposure is safe. And here's the thing. They found this in single-family homes, which, if you've ever lived in a single-family home, you'll know is larger than the majority of apartments that exist. I can tell you that, like, my apartment is probably about half of, like, a small, typical single-family home.
Yeah.
And they, the pollutants travel throughout the home and linger there. I mean, so these things are dangerous, and it took us a long time to figure it out, just like we did
with lead
or
lead paint,
with mercury or whatnot. And the fascinating thing is you have right-wingers out there now sort of like glomming on, and not just right-wingers exclusively, but glomming on to the idea that, like, the vaccines are harming children and whatnot. But they're talking about, you're going to have to pry my gas stove out of my cold, dead fingers type of situation. Here is direct, non-contradicted evidence. I mean, it never occurred to me that, like, oh, wait a second. Like, I've driven down 95 and seen the flames coming from factories in New Jersey, with all due respect, Emma, burning, thinking, like, that can't be good.
No.
Like, openly burning fuel into the atmosphere, that can't be good. Never occurred to me, like, why would it be good indoors to do that? It's just gas that's being burned.
It's not. I mean, that's why you don't run the car with the garage door closed too, right? Yeah. I mean, like. But
this is, now we're getting increased evidence, and the response to this is, it's one thing to say we're going to try and diminish society's health and public health. To roll back on scant evidence of danger provided by vaccines. But it's another to say that you're going to, try and prevent kids from having asthma in these buildings. Forget about that.
Yeah, I mean, then it just shows that they're not concerned about health effects of these kinds of things when they're made into culture war issues. It's just anti-intellectualism, and it boils down to, well, the experts said it, but I want an alternative vision, and so screw you, daddy, right? Screw you, authority. It's silly. It's just insanity.
Also, the way our media covers this, it skews towards higher income people who are more empowered over what kind of appliances they have, and unlike renters who just have to put up with it.
I have a gas stove in my 1-bedroom apartment. I couldn't make that decision. I couldn't make that choice, right? Renters don't have the renters, the idea that their freedom would be exercised via what products they put in their apartment. I mean, it's just laughable. What was that Republican congressman who you hate, who we played on Thursday?
Glenn Grothman,
who was saying that this is not going to hurt the poor because they don't pay their bills anyway. No, but it is going to hurt more poor people because gas stoves are more likely to be in smaller space, or the effects are going to be more acute in smaller spaces like apartments, renters.
Yeah, he said that the Hollywood class and the welfare class did not care about their energy bill or their gas bill, but the middle class does.
That's a fancy way of saying landlords should be able to gas slowly their tenants and not make the government feel sad about it.
Yep.